The 89th Masters concluded Sunday night in dramatic fashion with a playoff hole between Rory McIlroy and Justin Rose. McIlroy outlasted Rose on an additional tee off the 18th hole. McIlroy joins an elite list of 6 golfers to complete a career Grand Slam. But before we get there, let's break down the chaos. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Lauren Harth, once again joined by our resident golf experts, Amanda Vogt and Nolan Collery. Now, Amanda and Nolan, like I said, chaos ensued in those final few holes. Crazy ending. First time there's a playoff hole since 2017. Craziest Masters ending I've ever seen. Walk us through it.
Well, it's very hard to do that. I still don't know if I have all the right words to say, but Rory McIlroy ended up taking the title, and by any means, it was not perfect.
It was not a clean win.
No, it was not, but it's just the way that he handled it, and it started with the resilience he showed on Friday after his meltdown with 2 double bogeys on Thursday to get him right back to even par, and to start with a double bogey on 1 again, and to end up with a 4 or 5 shot lead heading into Amen Corner, and then absolutely getting just destroyed by those 3 holes, 11, 12, and 13. They say you need to take a prayer for a reason, and he could have used one in that moment. But as time was fleeting and the holes were getting fewer and fewer, it felt like the jacket was falling off the hanger into the closet of somebody else. But it's those shots like the one he had on 15, 7-iron, had to whip it around the trees, ended up just under 10 feet for eagle, ended up 2-putting for birdie. The shots over the trees in the front 9 on 5 and 7, and just the approach into the green on the playoff hole where he had messed up that exact same shot in the 72nd hole. Those are the shots that win the Masters. The putter wasn't there, but he ended up having a putt so similar to the one he missed in the U.S. Open, and just the raw emotion of a Masters tournament is unlike anything else in the world. No phones. Every reaction is so raw and pure. That's what makes this moment so special for him, but for the entire sport.
Yeah, and I think going on that point, this was one of the most important Masters for the sport of golf in a while for a couple reasons. We just came off a March Madness that people weren't super into.
Yeah.
We had a fairly uncompetitive Super Bowl. The whole world was watching the Masters, and they weren't watching for one person in particular. Tiger Woods did not play, so this field was wide open to be a brand new media spectacle, and Rory took over. Now, I'm going to do something that I hate to do, and I'm ashamed to do. I came and I sat in this very chair 2 weeks ago, and I said, and I'm directly quoting myself, I don't like Rory headed into Augusta.
And I said, why?
I was wrong. Mostly wrong. There's one point that I will give myself just a little credit on. I said I thought he'd have a beautiful moving day, but always once he gets to day 4, that's when the putter starts to get worried. That's when the driver can get a little shaky, and we did see that.
And that putt on 18, to be fair, the one he did miss, Bryson DeChambeau had a similar line. He missed that putt high. Rory has a shorter putt in, misses it low. So still something that is in that makeable range.
Sure,
but when the pressure's on, all the patrons flooding that 18 green, I saw reports of 20 to 30 people deep.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would ever feel like.
Right.
But he shows up in that playoff hole and defeats Justin Rose.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's not a lot of times that Rory McIlroy leaves Augusta shooting 1 over and thinks that was the best round of golf I've ever played in my life. But he made the right moves when he had to. He got over his mistakes, the disaster going for a swim in 13, played through it, and ultimately he's got a green jacket. He's finally done it.
Well, keeping things interesting right there in the end was Justin Rose, forcing it to a playoff hole. And kind of falling out of discussion on Sunday was Bryson DeChambeau. Kind of walk us through what happened to them on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll start with Bryson, who had maybe the second best round considering context of the entire Masters in his moving day on Saturday. Shot brilliant, drove 100% of fairways. I mean, Bryson, just like Rory, these are these guys who want to bring out the boomstick. They want to find a nice little lie, and they want to chip on, so they've got those early looks at birdie, sometimes eagle on those shorter par 5s. That being said, it just was not there ever.
No.
Nothing was there for
No.
Bryson. His irons looked, dare I say, terrible for his standard. He was missing short, then he was missing long. He did an over 200-yard shot with a 7-iron and shot over.
He hit over 1,000 shots on the range throughout the entire week. Rory hit like less than 400. And it just was surprising just how he was missing and when those misses happened.
Yeah, and then obviously what's become an early Bryson DeChambeau struggled with his short game, and now that's become the big selling point in his game, and looked uncomfortable on the greens. Obviously, you're going to get quotes from all sorts of guys saying they just can't figure out Augusta, and he had it through 3 rounds, but on day 4, when it mattered, just could not find the pin.
And Bryson and Rory was the headline of, that's the matchup we're getting, that's the matchup golf media wanted, fans wanted, because of what happened.
It's the one that I wanted personally.
It's the one that I was like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And it's what we got. But the fact that it just fell apart the way it did. We had 3 2-shot swings in the first 5 holes, Rory doubling 1, and then Bryson birdieing 2, but bogeying the other 3 and 4, Rory coming back with birdies on 3 and 4. It didn't make sense to anybody what happened, just because there were no clean numbers without a shape next to it on the scorecard. But Bryson just had no control in those moments, and you just didn't see as much mental fortitude and kind of that last and outlast Rory. Rory's obviously been around Augusta. This was the 17th time.
Yeah.
Bryson, I don't know how many, but it's less than 10.
Less than 17.
So there's definitely an experience factor there. But the guy who did come into the mix, Justin Rose, he was the 36-hole leader, shot 3 over on moving day, and surged up the leaderboard. The over 40-year-old Englishman put on a show. The European Ryder Cup team is going to be lethal at Bethpage back. I'm sure Luke Donald is very happy with the leaderboard. But I think that Justin Rose just came up in those big moments, specifically around Amen Corner, where Rory was +3. He went 3 under. And the birdies down the stretch had 10 of them throughout his round. It was incredible to see that bounce back after the weight that's on him. He's led after 5 times in his career after round 1, lost in the playoff to Sergio Garcia in 2017. It was such a photo finish, and it was incredible.
Yeah, I just said that I thought Bryson's moving day was the 2nd best round. Again, considering context, I don't think there's a shadow of a doubt that Rose had the best round of the Masters, considering the pressure on Sunday. He played incredible, something he's been open about. He does not have the driver distance that he once had. His iron play was fantastic. He looked so comfortable in all of the high-pressure moments. He looked ready when a playoff hole came. Obviously, there aren't the big screens at Augusta that you're going to see at a lot of other events, but whenever they cut into the practice range, he looked completely unbothered by the fact that he's waiting on Rory to miss a 10-footer just for a chance to play. I don't know if there is a more deserving winner who hasn't gotten a win that I've ever watched play than Justin Rose. Fantastic Ryder Cup career. Like you said, lost one to Sergio in 2017, but the biggest thing that you have to note immediately went up was a fantastic sport to Rory, was a great sport in media afterwards. He is a wonderful, wonderful person to have in the sport of golf, especially as one of the elder statesmen in the sport that we have right now, sort of leading in this new young generation, who a lot of those young guys had a lot of problems yesterday. So to have Justin as a leader in this field as we're moving on into this new era of golf, I think is incredibly healthy for the sport.
Yeah, no, I think, and like you said earlier, Nolan, kind of after some, I would say, anticlimactic endings in the sports world a few weeks ago, having Justin Rose there to keep it interesting in the end and make Rory McIlroy work a little bit harder to get his Masters win. But now Rory came out on top. After his 11th try, he finally completes the career Grand Slam. Kind of walk us through where this puts him in the history books and what you're looking forward to with the rest of the tournament this year.
He's only the 6th player to ever do it, the first person since Tiger did it in 2000, and this is a season that's really special. If Rory didn't win it this year, I don't think he does it at all.
Probably not.
And with the majors at Oakmont, for the U.S. Open, at Quail Hollow for the PGA Championship next month, where he's won several times, and to have the Open Championship in Northern Ireland, it's looking like he could be in the conversation to complete the Grand Slam in a single season. No one's ever done it before. We had the Tiger Slam between 2000 and 2001, where he won the Masters tournament in 2001 to complete that. But we're looking at something that's more than just historic with this green jacket. It can extend so much further if he puts his mind to it.
He has to be the favorite going into PGA and into the Open. I will say Oakmont doesn't necessarily love his play style. That's one that you really need to have technicality and you have to have game management. But we do often
That's
see...
typical for a U.S. Open too.
Right, exactly. We need to see these, we don't need to. We often see these win hangovers come. But the thing is, the next event Rory's probably going to play in is in Zurich, where he's going to be playing with his best friend in the entire world on his side. Lowry kind of had a blow up in the Masters and then had a meltdown in the media, but I imagine they're going to repair that. They said last year they were going to come back. They recommitted in mid-February that they were going to play. They have to be maybe the highest betting odd favorites you're going to see ever in golf going into that event. If you tell me this is a year that Rory can win another major, 2 more majors, and then maybe 3 or 4 more events, I will not doubt Rory McIlroy again. I have learned my lesson.
Good.
I know I'm looking forward to if there can be another ending like the Masters. Definitely keep me engaged right until the end. I'm looking forward to it. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, but the golf season is just getting underway. Will Rory win another? Could he do what no other golfer has done in the modern era, win a calendar Grand Slam? We will have to stay tuned to see what the season holds. For Amanda Vogt and Nolan Collery, I'm Lauren Harth. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your night.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this and so much more, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X. For everyone here at Penn State Sports Night,
we are
Penn State Sports Night.